Welcome again to C News. I'm Gómez Prieto, and today we are going to talk about the history of the 19th century. Today I have the pleasure to announce the visit of these historians: Michi Khalifa, Mr. Jesus, Mr. Vishnu, Lord Miramon, and Abdul, introducing general characteristics of the country. Introducing general characteristics of the country. The culture of Mexico is a result of the gradual blending of native culture, Spanish culture, and immigrant culture. It was influenced by their family, gender, religion, location, social class, etc. In the other way, Mexico was based in Roman Catholicism and Christianity. Most of the traditions in Mexico have a strong relationship with Catholic and Christian religion. Thanks. Explain me how the process of independence started.
Sure, it was a process divided in three stages. The first stage started in 1809 with the Conspiración de Valladolid, but it was discovered. Then it goes with the Conspiración de Querétaro in 1810, but it was also discovered by the Spanish crown. And end in 1811 with the death of Miguel Hidalgo and Juan Aldama.
Okay, and what was the plan?
Well, the plan was to fight against the crown, but it was discovered in Celaya. When Hidalgo knows that the Spanish people discovered the plan, he leaves in freedom prisoners and he takes Guanajuato. He has the opportunity to take the capital, but he decides to go back, and this was the cause to break relationship with Allende in the Battle of Puente de Calderón against Félix María Calleja. He was taken to Chihuahua and he was killed.
Okay, how, when, and where the second stage goes on?
The second stage goes on from 1811 with the death of Hidalgo to 1815 with the execution of Morelos in December 22. Morelos created a really great military army, and he also created Congreso Constituyente. He promulgated the Constitución de Apatzingán in 1814. This document was like the first constitution of Mexico. He was also called Siervo de la Nación, and he abolished the slavery in 1813 in the text Sentimientos de la Nación. Morelos was executed in 1815.
Finally, can you explain us the final stage and describe it?
Sure, the final stage or third stage goes on from 1816 to 1821. It was Guerra de Guerrillas, they were just small armies. The politic of Iturbide goes on. Félix María Calleja was virrey from 1814 to 1816. Then Apodaca from 1816 to 1820. Iturbide was a Creole and he was commanded to fight against Guadalupe Victoria and Vicente Guerrero, but he betrays the conspirators. In 1820, Conspiración de la Profesa goes on from conspirators because the Spanish crown wants back the Constitution of Cádiz of 1812 with a division of powers. Conspirators prefer the independence of Nueva España than the division of powers. It was the Hack of Acatempan between Guerrero and Iturbide. In 1821, Iturbide proclaimed the Plan de Iguala, where it states that the Nueva España is a free territory from Spain. Juan O'Donoghue, the last virrey, signed Tratados de Córdoba in 1821, where Mexico is recognized as independent. In September 27, 1821, El Ejército Trigarante enters winning to the capital.
Okay, thanks. Can you explain us about the first Mexican Empire?
Well, the first Mexican Empire only lasted 9 months, from July 21, 1822 to March 19, 1823. The emperor was Agustín de Iturbide, also known as Agustín I. Yeah, he was the first leader of Mexico as an independent country.
Okay, what were the problems?
Well, the first problem and the principal problem was because of the Congress. They wanted to implement in Mexico a republic, and they conspired against the regime, but they were arrested. The U.S. recognized this empire till 1822. In February 1823, Antonio López de Santa Anna proclaimed the Plan of Casamata, which generated a rebellion that made Agustín abdicate in March 19.
Okay, and what happened after Agustín first abdicated?
Well, Mexico became a republic, so now the country has a president. It was Guadalupe Victoria, and he was the first president of Mexico.
Okay, thanks to the independence of Texas.
Hey, what up, bro?
What's up, man? Can you explain us the independence, please?
Well, the independence of Texas began in 1836, and Mexico was commanded under Antonio López de Santa Anna. The main cause was that Mexico became a centralist republic, creating inconformities for the Texan people.
Okay, how did the process finish?
The war finished with the capture of Antonio López de Santa Anna in the Battle of San Jacinto by the army of Samuel Houston.
Okay, thanks.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Fine, thanks. Well, Abdul, can you tell us how did the French invasion started?
Well, sure. In those years, Mexico had a deal with France because son of the Cops of Santa Anna destroyed a bakery from a French guy. So the French government tried to claim the payment of that bakery. So in 1838, French government blocked all the docks of Veracruz and captured some Mexican boats.
Okay, and what were the consequences?
Well, as consequence, Mexico compromised to pay all the money that they owed to France.
Okay, and how was the process of United invasion developed?
Well, that conflict occurs between 1847 and 1848 with, again, the President Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna, in which in Texas, the Mexicans fight against the Americans by the validity of the Velasco treaties. So they start the war. The United States arrived quite easily to the capital of Mexico and fight against Los Niños Héroes, that they were defeated. So they make the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, where Mexico have to give the 51% of the territory to the United States.
Hey, Gomez Prieto, how's your wife, man?
Oh man, I just got divorced.
Oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Yeah, don't worry. But now, what was la Guerra de la Reforma?
Okay, La Guerra de Reforma, or War of the 3 Years, was a conflict between liberals and conservatives that took place from December 17, 1857 to January 1st, 1861.
Okay, what does the 1857 Constitution said?
Okay, what this constitution basically said was that Mexico would become a representative and federal republic with the three powers: executive, legislative, and judicial.
Okay, and what's the Tacubaya Plan?
Okay, this is a good plan. This plan was launched on December 17, 1857 by General Felix Zuluaga. What this plan wanted was the annulment of the Carta Magna of 1857 and the creation of a new constitution. Comonfort accepted this, and then he leaves the country to Ley Juarez, 1855. What this law wanted, this suppressed the privilege of the clergy and the army and declared all the citizens equal before the law. Then Ley Lerdo, 1856, which forced civil and ecclesiastical corporations to sell houses and land. And then the English law, 1857, which prohibited the payment of parish rights and objections to the tithe.
Okay, and can you tell us how does it develop?
Okay, sure. First, Comonfort goes to the U.S. and here begins the war between liberals and conservatives. Liberals demand the fulfillment of the Constitution of the 57, and then Benito Juárez Garcia was proclaimed as the president. Then the same Court of Justice of the Nation during the government of Ignacio Comonfort, and the conservatives, which the consent of 27 states of the Union, appoint General Felix Zuluaga as an interim president.
Okay, now can you tell us how it all ended?
Okay, sure. The last battle they had was Calpulalpan on December 22, 1860, in the state of Mexico. This war was the definition of everything. Then Benito Juárez entered to Mexico City on January 1st, 1861.
What happened in the Second Mexican Empire?
Well, it lasted more than the first one. It lasted 3 years, from July 1864 to June 1867. It was implemented by Napoleon III and supported by the Austrian and Spanish crowns because the conservatives wanted a monarchy, so they asked Europe for an emperor. They decided to send Archduke Ferdinand Maximilian of Austria, but when he became emperor after signing the treaties of Miramar in the Palace of Miramar, he became Maximilian I of Mexico. The liberals saw him as a puppet, but the conservatives saw him as a ruler. In May 15, 1867, Mariano Escobedo decided to take prisoners Maximiliano, Miguel Miramón, and Tomás Mejía, which were friends of Maximiliano. They were shot in the Cerro de las Campanas, and this ended with the last and second empire of Mexico.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Porfiriato. This subject will be taught by Mr. Jesus. Welcome back, Mr. Jesus.
Thank you.
Can you explain us the process since the beginning, politics, and etc.?
Well, first of all, Porfiriato started in 1876. It lasted 31 years and it was commanded by Porfirio Diaz, of course. It was a big conflict for the Mexican people because of the abuse that was presented in the country. Even though it was bad in a certain way, it had its benefits. The increase of the economy and the railroad promoted the art and culture of Mexican people. There are plenty of important people that was fighting against Porfirio Diaz, such as Francisco Madero. In 1911, Porfirio Diaz officially retired as Mexican president.
In conclusion, Mexico was a country with many conflicts that made many things to improve in political and economical aspects. Independence gave freedom to all the people. In politics, there were many different types of government during the century.